Hello everyone, Kokomojo here. Today we have a 21 Algathar Academy to go over together. I am playing sub in this key, and my goal for the video is to go over my approach to the different pulls and point out some of my mistakes as well. There are definitely plenty of those throughout here, so we can learn together. So starting off, at least on Tyran week, I like to play Verse. There's a bunch of unavoidable damage in this key, so playing Burst for the DR is what I'm thinking. The key's probably low enough that I could be playing Mastery, but I opt for Verse. I think it's just a little bit safer. So starting off on this pull, I'm going in, getting some Ruptures out, and then I get into Dance with Symbols and get Sectech on cooldown as well. At this point, I'm just spamming Black Powder. I gotta get a little bit of overall DPS, but it might actually be better to... well, actually, there's a bunch of healthy mobs in here, so pressing Black Powder isn't too bad. But one of the things that I'm trying to look out for in this run is there's a lot of pulls where there's one mob that has a ton of health, and on bolstering week especially, we want to be trying to funnel that mob down. So I'll try to point out some situations where I do this successfully. So we get the Skitter Flies, so I'm applying a bunch of Ruptures. Then we get into Dance and get our Secret Technique out. I delayed it a little bit, both because I was out of range because of the Swirly, but also it ended up giving me Cold Blood as well, so that's pretty nice. I think I didn't get enough Dance Macabre stacks though. I think I probably should have done one more rotation of Finisher and then Builder to get back to max combo points before the Secret Technique. So I'm in Discord with everyone except for the healer. So for these pulls, there's a lot of area denial from those swirlies, and one of the things that we're doing is talking with our tank to point out what direction we should be walking and making sure that we're not losing uptime. We have 3 melee DPS, so it can be very easy for everyone to lose uptime on these pulls, so that's something to keep in mind. So this is a situation where I actually should be funneling. There's just these little baby lashers and then the one vile lasher, and now he's not getting bolstered. Those little mobs don't bolster, but he was like way healthier than the other mobs. I also ended up delaying my dance there. I think I was thinking that we would get to this boss a little bit faster, but that didn't end up happening, so I ended up delaying the dance and not getting full value. I should have pressed it when it was available. So our goal on this boss is to... we're going to be funneling every other set of ads. So with the first set, we can just funnel. We don't need to worry about killing the ads super quickly, because they mostly are dormant pretty much for the entire time that they're up. So you'll see here I'm just pressing Eviscerates. And yeah, the goal here is to maximize boss damage, at least for every other set of ads. And then again, we get the ad, so we gotta be kicking the heal, and then we're gonna be funneling the ad at this point so we can clear our bleeds. So here I should be reapplying. Okay, good. I got Rupture back up on the boss. We're stacking because the ads are coming out. Now this is the set where we need to be killing the ads. The other thing I do here is I make sure to get tricks on the tank, so that we aren't actually getting a bunch of these lashers aggroed on DPS players and getting them meleeed down. But yeah, we all swap to doing AoE. And our Unholy DK absolutely blasts on this fight, so we have no big problems with the ads. And then this is another set where the ads just AFK, so we can use them for funnel on the boss. And this is going to speed up the boss fight a lot. And again, if your tank is confident that they can live, you could probably also funnel the ad phase with where they come to life. Oh, this is actually a mistake. I'm Gloom Blading, but I've got ads up that I could be funneling off of. So that's actually a pretty big mistake. And I end up cloaking this Burst Forth just to minimize damage that's going out on the group, so that my healer can focus on getting everyone up. I actually probably should have cloaked the first one. I don't really know why I didn't do it, but I should be cloaking that. And for the ones that I'm not cloaking, on a higher key, I should also be pressing Feint. I don't press Feint on this fight, but it would definitely be a good button to be pressing, so definitely keep that in mind as well. And here we're going to kill the boss before we need to kill the branch. I am going over to kick it, but it wasn't necessary. We cleaned that up, no problem. So I'm taking a look at some of our damage breakdown between boss and adds, and first I thought our Unholy Decay was just hard padding, but he actually gets a huge amount of boss dam as well, so all good. I guess that makes sense. His bursting wounds or whatever are all going to be hitting the boss from all of those adds, so even though it is also doing a ton of add damage, it's also doing a bunch of boss damage. So this is a situation where if I had pressed Cloak on the first burst forth, then I would have Cloak back for this fight, and I would be able to have cloaked that first Expel Intruders or whatever it's called. But so I don't have it here either. I'm just trying to get as much value out of my cooldowns as I can. And then I run out. I ended up missing, I think, 2 globals in that dance, which is really not good. I actually don't know if it's better to hold dance in that situation so I can get full value or send it. I think probably send it, because if I hold, then I probably lose a use, or at least like a large fraction of a use. So I think it's probably better to send. Yeah, so this is a situation where my cloak just came off cooldown, and I didn't get any value on it, on that mob. So I should definitely be in the future pressing it on the first burst forth, and that way I get it back for that mob. Because now there's like no use for cloak for a while. I'll pretty much use it on this boss to clear stacks or to immune a high stack screech attack. So yeah, this is definitely a lot of cloak value lost. So one thing I learned is these mobs can actually start casting their gust when they're up above, and it affects the entire z-axis. So don't stand in the gust, even if the mob is like 20 feet above you. It will hit you, and it will proc cheat death. So I learned that one the hard way. So this was a case where we really should have been funneling the eagle. I think I was funneling for the most part, but yeah, we end up killing all those little adds, and this eagle gets giga bolstered, but that's okay. And then this is a situation where we have 2 eagles coming in. So basically I call that I'll funnel star, and I ask our shaman, our enhancement shaman, to funnel the orange marker. Or actually maybe the other way around. I asked him to do star, and then I'm doing orange marker. But yeah, our goal is to get as much damage into these big healthy eagles as we can, while we have these small eagles to funnel off of. And I'm actually making a mistake here. I should be pressing Gloomblade in 2 targets while I have this much time on Lingering Shadows. It would actually be higher overall DPS to be pressing Gloomblade here, so. And apparently I didn't trust that anyone would kick that, so I ended up kicking as well.
Now we need to clear out the big one. I will activate the goals for Lishrath. That is
so our goal here on this boss is to live as many stacks as we can. We're basically trying to delay clearing stacks so that we can make sure we can get a full set of... So we're trying to make sure that when we get new stacks after, that we're able to clear them, and then we end the fight with as few stacks as possible. Definitely a little bit of a pain to explain, but you'll see what that looks like coming up here pretty soon. yeah, this fight also does not go very smoothly. So we have a pretty sketchy finish that ends up working out in our favor, but only just barely. One thing you'll notice is that I threw an item on this boss. It's called Enchanted Dust, and it makes the boss see-through. And this really helps when you're standing under these big dumb wings and there's like fire swirlies all around you and you're having a hard time seeing. Definitely a great item to have in your bags for this boss, and there's a couple of other bosses in the game that that also can benefit from Enchanted Dust. Our Druid just narrowly avoids that frontal. He got booted up by the volcanic. But so Rogue is busted on this fight, by the way. Couple of reasons. I mean, the biggest one is you have Feint for every single Shriek. And so you're just never going to die to unavoidable damage. The other is, at least with sub, the cooldowns are somewhat bursty. They're not as good as, like, you know, long cooldowns, but oh, that's actually really unfortunate. I just noticed that our Druid got hit by Volcanic at the same time as the Shriek. I think that's probably what killed him. So I actually, we end up clearing, I think, the stacks a little bit too early. I don't have my cooldowns up. So this was like one of the things I was saying is pretty good about Rogue, is that you've got good damage. Oh jeez, this is spicy. Yeah, you've got some decent burst damage for the damage amp phase, but I definitely misplayed my cooldowns. I actually want to quickly rewatch that and see what's going on. Why did I not have cooldowns here? So when did I use? We're at 4 stacks, and okay, I think I got confused when the Druid died, and my brain just went into like autopilot, and I saw my cooldowns were available, so I pressed them. But that's definitely a huge mistake. I should have been holding for this vulnerability phase. So that's my bad, actually. We were at 4 stacks. That was the plan that we talked about at the start of the key, and I messed up there. So okay, let's see now. Okay, so we're back to 0 stacks. It looks like I actually just cloaked something. Oh, I cloaked this one. That's a really bad cloak. We're at 0 stacks, yeah? Yeah, that was an awful cloak. So don't do that. Don't cloak at 0 stacks. I think I cloaked that because the Druid was standing pretty much on me, and I was worried that I was going to get killed by the Druid overlapping the circle with me. Regardless, I think we still live, even if that happens, if I have Feint up. Yeah, that was a terrible cloak. Okay. But basically we are, at this point, we are at, everyone's at 2 stacks except for me, because I cloaked the first stack. And now everyone else is at 3 stacks. And our Druid is doing okay on mana. He's got cooldowns coming back. He's got, he just pressed Flourish, actually. We need to clear here pretty soon.
5, 4, 3.
I end up shadow stepping to someone to clear. But now we are in pretty rough shape here. I think our tank is running out of buttons. Our Druid dies to, I think, a fire circle. Our tank is out of juice. He's got the bleed. And we are in rough shape. We got the B-res out. He waits to take it until after the Shriek. But now our tank is in bad shape. We're out of B-reses and we have 2.7 million left. So I'm evasion tanking right now. And I see my evasion is about to run out. So I just dip. And I'm like, alright, I will kite this boss. And now I'm paying too much attention to the boss and I run into this circle. This procs my cheat and I get hit by the frontal. But I don't die. And this platform just pulls you back up. So, like, this was just crazy. I mean, it's fortunate that I was able to evasion tank and then kite, and then I don't die. But that's also just lucky. Like, we had so much health left on the boss. It's kind of crazy.
1.
But we are still in it. Our timer is looking okay-ish. We have Lust now. And in fact, maybe this is a good opportunity to talk about the route. I actually think this route is awful for a Tyrannical week. We should be shrouding to Vex and getting Lust on cooldown on Vex as soon as possible. And then we should be able to get Lust back for Croth if we come back through this way that we're going now, just in the opposite direction. So, yeah, I don't like this route. I think we should be going the opposite way. So some things to look out for with these mobs. So it's mostly the battle axe that we need to look out for. It's going to put a nasty bleed on the tank. So we can use kidney or blind to stop that. This scepter does the mystic blast, of course. So I always just put that on focus target and own all the stops on the mystic blast. I also try to stop the rain if I can. So you'll see that what I'm looking at here is this this cast bar on my focus target. So I'm trying to priority damage the Ravager, but you'll see that when the scepter starts to cast, I end up hitting my focus blind. And I also tried to stun the bleed there, but I wasn't able to do that in time. And then I'm gonna go out and vanish that ambush. This guy's pretty bolstered, so we're in pretty rough shape. Our tank is just out of juice again. He still hasn't recovered from the boss. So we are in pretty rough shape here. We're trying to kill. I end up kiting because I'm not sure if I'm gonna have threat on this guy or not. Looks like our DK has threat, but he's able to live and get out of there. So yeah, we are in pretty rough shape at this point, but we continue onward. I think one mistake I make here is that I should be putting this guy on focus and then have the battle axe targeted. That way I can kick the scepter, but I can be targeting the battle axe to be able to stop the bleed. And there our druid did a good job of using disorienting roar. That got rid of the bleed cast, and our tank's in pretty good shape now. But I also don't like fighting those 4-packs. I think that's like pretty slow. Alright, so one thing we actually learned from the last pull with the Ravager is that we should be funneling. So I've actually completely swapped to funneling the Ravager. I'm gonna get some ruptures up on all of these mobs because it's good for DPS. They gotta die too, but once I get ruptures going on all those mobs, I'm gonna be pressing Eviscerate. But yeah, I think we actually end up killing this guy before a bunch of the other mobs, if I remember correctly. Actually, that's not gonna work out. But he is dying at basically the same time, so that's pretty nice. Because in the last pull with the Ravager, we had him up last. He had like 3 million health, and we were in pretty big danger. So. So I stopped the battle axe, but just barely. That was actually kind of a close call. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to... Okay, so I ended up blinding him. We also used disorienting roar, so this is a situation where having people in comms and calling out what you're going to do is pretty helpful. So we had a overlap there, but it's not the end of the world. And I ended up stunning him too because he's 5 times bolstered, and that was going to be a little scary if that bleed goes through on the tank. So again, I'm getting into a spot where I can get all the ruptures on the mobs, and then we're just, you know, in black powder mode. And then I'm actually going to hold global here. That guy was stunned by the cap totem, so he had a delayed cast. But I was kind of sitting and waiting for him to cast the bleed. And I kicked a mana void, but that's kind of a useless kick. It's not super scary. I think it's better to kick the surge. That was a good knockup by our shaman. But yeah, we're basically in black powder mode at this point. Just trying to kill all these mobs so we can start fighting the boss. So in the route that I actually think would be better, we would shroud past the first bridge on our way to Vex, come in and clear all of this trash as our first pulls, and then during the RP we would fight that Ravager pack that we fought before we came into here in this run. I think that's a lot better. I've seen the high elo teams do that, and it just makes more sense to me. We get Lust for Vexallus, and we also get Lust for Croth, and we aren't wasting time during RP. There's like a lot of upsides to doing that route. So I get a few of those. I probably should have gotten the third one actually, because then the healer could have just dispelled me. I don't think I was in any danger of dying to getting those. I tried to clear, but ended up not actually clearing. So now we've got to clear a little later, but that's okay. I think one problem that I have is I don't really press my Shuriken Tornado in single target as often as I should. Like right here, I am about to have Dance come off cooldown. What? How did that happen? Hold on. Let's see. Wait a second. So I'm trying to figure out, how did this end up hurting? So hold on, we've got our tank soaks an orb, our DK is about to soak an orb. I've got a bomb. How did that hurt our I'm actually really confused about what happened there. I'm gonna have to check a log and see what's going on. That's very strange. So again, we're in kind of rough shape here. So I'm taking inventory at this point. I see I have Vanish, and I'm taking the talent that gives me the Absorb Shield when I press Vanish. So there I soaked a bunch of the orbs, and that was actually maybe a little bit risky because this mechanic was coming up. But I soaked a bunch of the orbs, and that made it so that our druid could just dispel me and get a lot of value out of dispel. But yeah, same thing happens there. I soak a few orbs, and we're able to live it. So we've got bombs coming in. I have not gotten any bombs in a while, so I'm in pretty good shape right now. Unfortunately, our shaman runs out of juice, and he's not able to live the bombs. So this is a case where I'm like begging for a bomb on me because I have Vanish, and that Absorb Shield is really good. I actually just misplayed my rotation pretty badly there too. I think I'm like pretty focused on the party frames and just seeing the state of the group, but I end up casting an extra Shadow Strike that way overcaps my combo points. But yeah, boss dead. We have a bunch of people die, unfortunately, but that's okay. I think they end up, yeah, they just end up releasing. And because our druid died at the end, and there's no way we can res anyway, but we're just going to shroud past these guys anyway, so it's fine. We'll meet them on the other side. Get a little distract. That helps reduce the risk of them actually detecting us in stealth. But so yeah, we are doing okay-ish on time. Luckily, we have just a couple more trash pulls to do, and they're pretty efficient, so we're not too worried here. So we're just gonna pull those two at the stair, at the left rather. We got the two guys on the stairs, and then the 3-pack here. And I get a little overzealous and pull threat there. I should have waited for our tank to actually group up the mobs, but that is okay. We are doing it. But yeah, the trick with these guys is just stay max range, because their spin can do a lot of damage, but it's not really dangerous if you just play max range. Yeah, not a big deal. And so I see here we've got one guy that's like pretty healthy, so I'm hitting the healthy guy. Again, this is not maximizing overall DPS. We could definitely be doing more DPS, but I think this is best for the team to try and kill the healthy mobs, especially with bolstering. I feel like that was like kind of a shitty tornado. I probably should... Well, first of all, I probably shouldn't be casting Tornado in Dance. I should cast Tornado before Dance. And then I shouldn't be rupturing the mobs. I really should be pressing Black Powder or Eviscerate or something that is going to do more damage immediately in the Dance. So that's definitely a misplay. And again, here we're at 2 targets, and well, I no longer have much Lingering Shadows buff left, but that's a case where I should be pressing Gloomblade for at least a little while there. So we're actually in pretty good shape here. We're not going to have Lust for this fight, at least not until the very end, but that should be okay. But yeah, we get our opener off, we get our Whetstone going. About to cap on T. Okay, so we get rid of the T. And this fight is actually kind of boring. I think the trickiest thing is tracking your own debuff stacks and making sure that you're not dropping puddles in like a really bad spot. So, like here I see now I have 2 stacks of the debuff, and now what I'm going to do is kind of pre-position myself over on this side of the room. Like, I'm trying to max range the boss now so that if I get another stack, then I will drop a circle over here. So I just randomly get a 3rd stack, because that happens sometimes, and I drop the puddle over on this side. And our tank just pulls far away from from that puddle, so that's good. One thing I'll often do with that circle is kind of linger for a moment and see if I can proc some auto attack combo points from Shadow Technique and refresh my Rupture and things along those lines. But yeah, again, like at this point, we realize that if we don't die, then we win. So we decide to just kind of play it safe. Like we don't really need to do anything too crazy to time this key at this point. But I actually think this fight is kind of fun as melee later on when there's tons of orbs kind of flying around. I just think it's like kind of neat. Yeah, and at this point, so I casted my Whetstone, and I think that was actually a bit of a mistake. So this is a situation where I get bomb, so I just run it over and then I cloak to drop bomb. And actually, I think he dispelled me before I cloaked. Which is fine, it's like not the end of the world, but... Now we're just like, okay, we gotta make sure that we're clearing here. We all get pulled in. I think someone gets hit by an orb during the pull in. I just narrowly dodged that one. But I like this. This to me is like way more fun than like when everything's going smoothly. And I'm like, I can just kind of AFK and not really worry about anything. When there's orbs flying everywhere and you gotta be dodging and trying to keep up with your rotation and all of that. I think it's pretty fun. So a couple of things that I'm not using on this fight that I probably should be: Vanish and Shadow Step. So I can Shadow Step to the boss after the circle to kind of maximize my uptime. I think at this stage, it's probably pretty dangerous to do that because you're, you know, you might be stepping into an orb, but that's something to keep in mind as well. And same idea with Vanish. Vanish, Shadow Strike. I should at least be using that in single target during dance, but it's okay. But yeah, that's the key. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or anything you notice that I could be doing better. There's definitely a lot of mistakes in here, so I am happy to hear whatever thoughts you have on what I could be doing to improve. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.